in my seat.
A minute's
Okay.
long.
Well, good evening, and would like to call to order the Georgetown School Committee Thursday, August 30th, 2012 meeting. And I think it's 7 o'clock, or it's a little bit, a couple minutes after 7. We have, first to start with the consent agenda, and we have approval of meeting minutes. And we can approve all three as one, I think, versus doing each one. So, so with that, looking for a motion to approve the meeting minutes, regular session meeting minutes of 7:26:12, governance minutes of 8:15:12, and public relations minutes of 7:24:12. Excuse me.
moved. Second.
Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, moving on to the acceptance of warrants or accounts payable. Looking for a motion to approve the warrant articles numbers 05 V13, number 07 V13, number 09 V13, number 06 P13, number 08 P13.
So moved.
I don't have a number for that, though.
What do you mean?
A dollar number for that.
No.
You don't have that one?
You don't ever have that. You approve that number when you sign the warrant. So you
All right.
have 3 members who sign it.
All right. So it's been motioned. Need a second?
Yeah,
You have a
I
second?
second, yes. Can I ask a question? Quick
discussion?
question?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it says, let's see, is this the one where the voters will recommend that voters approve 100,000? No, it's
That's
not that.
different. That's
Okay,
it.
different, sorry.
This, as I was explaining to Rob today, is, you know, when you come in and you go through all the bills and you make sure they reconcile.
Oh, those warrants.
That's the warrants
Okay,
we're talking
yes,
about here.
got it. Sorry.
Okay, so no more discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Accepted. Communications, I guess I'll introduce communications. This is as good a time as any. The Georgetown Music Program, can we use that? Just plug that in
no,
at this point, does it matter?
No, I think this is an actionable item, so I think you want to plug it
All right.
under new business.
All right, we'll put that in under new business.
And otherwise, there isn't any communication with the committee from the public at this point, written communication.
All right. So moving on to, let's see, student representative. We have another month to go before we find out one, right?
Yeah.
Peter's shaking his head.
Do we have one?
No, they have to be elected every year.
From the, is it the kids that elect them?
Yeah, they're elected from actually the student council.
Oh, okay.
So the student body elects the student council, and the student council elects the representative. It's usually the president of the student council.
Moving to item 4 on the agenda, audience. In general, any public comment? Open it up right now, and then we'll also have comment during any particular item.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
seeing no public comment?
No, we just did support, so.
Oh, for golf, you're gonna talk, yeah, okay.
Moving on to public agenda items. The warrant article discussion for the building committee, that's been moved, my understanding, to September 13th meeting? Is
Yeah,
that
the actual
correct? The actual
discussion.
presentation by the building committee, so there is no building committee warrant article discussion this evening.
Ian just asked if I would just mention, and Ellie and Michelle as well, just to draw your attention to the orange notes, that there are going to be 2 warrant articles discussed, and the Board of Selectmen has to vote on them as well. So I think they're coordinating the timing of the Board of Selectmen meeting and the school committee meeting. But on the 13th, hopefully it'll be a full school committee, so everybody will have the opportunity. And this is really the, this is the coordinated effort we've been having as we were talking about the project, the middle high school feasibility study that would need to be completed, as well as the matching funds for the FEMA mitigation grants. So like, for example, we were just
And
talking
that
today
answers my
at
question,
Pearlie
yes.
about the water, which we don't have a problem with right now, but it does happen in the gym. This grant would take care of that, would be designed to take care of that. So we aren't gonna discuss it tonight.
Right.
But just, they asked that you'd be prepared. Now, the other thing,
Would
if
we-
there's any questions you have about it, things, information you feel you might need for the meeting on the 13th, in order to really understand the full ramifications, if you have questions, please send them to me. I'll be more than happy to facilitate
Could
it.
we get a draft of what the warrant article is going to be?
A draft, okay, so
Warrant
draft
articles?
language, you mean?
The draft
Mhm.
language?
Okay.
A copy of that? and
Okay.
That would,
Because
That would
Carol
be
just said
helpful
it's gonna be
beforehand.
2 warrants.
Correct.
articles, So,
Yeah.
and that was my question, was it gonna be 2 or 1, so,
I
yeah,
think the discussion is it's 2.
okay.
okay.
But if you do think of any questions, please, I'd be happy to try to get the information for you before and put it in the notes so that you can be prepared.
Great.
Thank you, Rob.
Okay. Golf club, Georgetown Middle High School Golf Club proposal. Chris,
This is gonna come on.
there's the man.
We have to go early today.
So, Chris, just so you know, in the orange notes that I do for the committee, I think when you and I met, all of the questions that I raised and all the questions that I've heard raised are listed in here. So if you want to just give, for the public's benefit, a quick little overview, and then I think the committee, may have some questions.
Sure. So basically, the reason that we're here is that the Pentucket co-op has ended. Basically, they got too big to support us. They were actually cutting some of their own kids. So that's actually the sign of a successful co-op, that they grew to a size where the school can sustain it. Because of that, we're left without a golf team. Our 2 seniors are grandfathered in, so they're able to play this year. But next year, we won't have anyone, eligible to play golf. So the goal is to build a varsity program for next year. To do that, we really think that we should start a golf club this year to get the ball rolling, to get interest in it, and to, make sure that it is a sustainable team before we, jump into it next year. So the idea is to have a user-funded golf club. It would be open to all middle high school students. They'd be at the Black Swan, who have graciously given us access to their greens and to their practice range.
Very kind.
Yeah, very, very nice of them.
Very-
We do have some JV teams that are interested in playing us, so there'd be almost scrimmages. So that's a way for us to get some real experience both on our course and other courses. And I did an initial poll. 23 student athletes showed interest. Of those, a few did sign up for fall sports, so they'd be out. But there's still, I think, at least 20 people who are interested. If we get 15 of them, that would be great. Essentially, the only costs involved are a stipend coach, and I have found someone who's very qualified to do it. The kids would get a polo shirt for playing, and then bus transportation for our away matches. And I think we'd have 4 away matches, so it's really a minimal cost. And then once we have our number, we'd divide the cost by the number of people, and that would be the user fee. So I did some math. If we had 10 players, it would be $325, which is a little high. That's close to our higher user fee. But if we had 20 players, it would be $175, so that's pretty low. So it really is going to depend on how many kids show up. And I wouldn't recommend running it if less than 10 show up, so it just, it's a good effort. But so that's the idea behind it, is to get it going, and then next year we'll hopefully have a varsity program.
Now, if you have more than 23?
Keep them. It's according to the MIA, whenever you have a club team, it has to be open to all.
So you can
For
turn
for
anyone.
next year, there would probably be cuts.
Yeah.
Basically, most schools cut at 16. So 16 is sort of the number where you have enough kids. 8 would actually play in the varsity matches, and the others would practice and challenge for those spots.
But it is a great sport, and we have the Black Swan right here. It's a sport people can play for their whole life, and I think there are a lot of interested golfers
Absolutely.
in Georgetown.
Yeah,
People
and
play.
it's co-ed,
Yes.
so both male and female students can play.
Great idea, yes.
I think it's a wonderful idea.
Thank you.
Those kind of sports, except for the fees that are associated with the actual golf course itself,
Yeah.
they're great. It's a great sport, too. Were there any comments? I think Peter?
I think it's important to note that even at the highest projected user fee, that's about less than a third of what it would cost. That's about a third of what it would cost a player to go and pay for range balls at a range and greens fees at that course. So it's, no matter what they're gonna pay, it's a bargain.
Yeah, I agree, it is a bargain. That's very nice that the Black Swan did that.
Yeah.
Did we go to them asking them for, like, to use their course, and they just generously said, you can have it?
Yeah, what was it say? Jeff Turbin did a good job actually, of
Thank you.
making those contacts, and
That's
yeah,
great.
they offered it up.
Wow.
And one of the thoughts was, that, you know, initially we were looking at, well, could we put together the varsity program this year? Because there were a number of kids that had expressed interest. But the problem is these schedules for the league get planned a year in advance.
Right.
So we wouldn't have been able to get us, we might have been able to get the kids, but we wouldn't have been able to get the schedule. So
Yeah.
it's actually great that at least some of the children who played before could stay on the co-op program and actually stay in the league. And it's nice for the seniors to finish out
Right.
their senior year and make that team. So, you know, I think we have a lot of support for this. I think the only objection, it wasn't even an objection, the only question I raised to Chris was that I just wanted to make sure, since, you know, we sometimes were struggling to fill our teams, that we just wanted to make sure that if we put this program in, it wasn't going to take a lot of kids from other teams that we then couldn't field. But that's why Chris went and did the due diligence and looked at the list and said, there's a few, but it's by no means, you know, going to put us in a position where we can't run an existing team that we have or fill the roster. So that was the only question I had. Otherwise, I was in complete support of this and, you know, urge the committee to give these students an opportunity to have something to do in the fall.
There was a great article in the paper, too, about it.
Oh, I didn't see it.
I didn't
No,
see
good.
that.
I'll look.
I think it's great.
Any other discussion?
Nope, just thank you for going to all the effort to put this together.
I guess, looking for a motion then to approve the proposed golf club team for 2012-2013 as presented by Athletic Director Chris DeFranco.
So moved.
So, second?
Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks so much, guys.
Good luck.
Okay, good luck.
Hit them straight.
Thank you for coming, everyone.
All right, yeah, thank you for coming.
Let's see. Administrative reports, superintendent's report, the opening of school buildings and grounds is the first up. And I'd just like to ask the rest of the committee here if they have any objections to moving into this camp after Joan speaks about our own individual reports of the schools, because it kind of lumps in together nicely.
Great.
So,
So
with that-
I'll start and say that, you know, I am very excited about the opening of school. You know, I think the extra, even though I'm a, you know, I was a pro before Labor Day person, going to school only because I like to get out earlier in June. I have to say, this particular year, it was very nice to have the 11 weeks. And we needed them this year with all the work, and you're going to hear a little bit from both Joan and Mike, and then again from the principals. You know, in many ways, we're going to be right down to the wire getting everything done and ready, because there have been a lot of projects that we've been working on this summer that are, you know, not usually part of our summer routine. We have been very busy hiring, and I think the folks that I have met, we had a new teacher orientation day yesterday, and welcomed the new teachers. I think I had a chance to meet them when principals recommended them. I'm very excited about the group. They seem very eager, very interested, obviously very qualified. So we feel very good about that. And all we're really looking for right now, we have a couple of situations where we need a couple of paraprofessionals to work in some of our programs. So it is important that if, you know, we fill those, we're working in diligently to do it, and we've got some folks we're talking to, but we can certainly use a broader pool. So if anybody in the public is interested in coming to talk to us, we'd love to, and we're looking for substitute aides as well and substitute teachers. So if anybody's interested, please, you know, fill out an application and come talk to us. I think what I'd like to do now, though, is to defer to Joan and Mike, because most of what's gone on this summer and is ready, you know, for opening is getting the buildings ready. And then that will be followed by brief informational updates from the principals. And then we'll hear your comments, and I think that'll conclude, you know, my section. If you have any specific questions as we go along for me, I'd be happy to answer them. So Joan and Mike.
Come on up, Mike. Come on up. In your packet is a list of the maintenance projects that were completed over the summer. It's a fairly lengthy list. I want to commend Mike. He did
Oh,
a fabulous job.
And the
just
custodians.
just organizing the projects that we had going on this summer, separate from this, with the Pearly Roof project, and then we had a couple of floor replacements going on at the high school, so scheduling, it was difficult to schedule the cleaning. Everything is done. There's a couple little things hanging out there tomorrow, but, and Mike just did a terrific job managing the whole thing. It was a difficult summer for him, and I think he did, I feel blessed to have him here. So if you have any questions about anything on the list, I mean, Mike can answer them. And I will note that the custodians worked really hard.
Oh.
Just because there was so much going on in the schools, it was really a difficult summer for them. And like you said, it's a good thing we had the extra week, but they did it, they pulled it off and they got it done, and, you know, we're very pleased.
The custodians have probably cleaned some sections 3 or 4 times just because of all the, they would do it and then there'd be a roof leak and they'd have to be back at it, so, I mean, those guys really gave their all.
And those going back second and third times, that wasn't anything that was foreseen.
No,
Those were all,
Yeah, accidents or construction mishaps or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing you might want to point out is the fact that you know, at Pearlie in particular, in that first grade wing.
Yeah.
You know, as a result of working on the roof,
We did very well with new tiles, new ceilings,
because there was some flooding
painting.
from the roof.
When they took the old roof off, before they put the new roof on, we got a rainstorm and everything got damaged.
Right.
But they look fabulous now
Oh.
because they put in all
It's a new
the
space.
suspended ceilings.
Oh, yeah.
The ceilings were awful.
I haven't
They were
seen
really high, so now it's
should-
really,
I haven't seen it yet.
You should
No,
see
you
it
have
if
to
you
check
check
it
it
out.
out.
I had the
Fabulous.
pleasure, yes, it was
All new
absolutely amazing. I
tile.
was
I mean,
very,
those
very
first grade
impressed.
room ceilings,
they're like brand new
really
rooms,
cleaned it
yeah.
up.
A lot of work.
Really,
took
other than
place.
a little bit of painting of the walls now that you notice, because
Yeah,
everything is
because
so
they're so
bright
white.
and white and clean, that is a completely new wing. And the other
Did the
thing.
insurance cover that?
The insurance did cover that.
Did cover it,
They did
yeah.
cover it.
Yes.
And the other thing that they've been contending with in addition is, if you recall, the town voted on that ETSCO project to put in all those energy saving measures, I guess they call them. So, starting in August, like within the last
Few weeks.
3 weeks,
Yeah.
they've been in blowing out all the unit ventilators, updating the parts, setting modernizing them to the new computer. They removed in front of Pearlie, and I don't know for the middle high school, they
Not yet,
removed
yeah.
the oil tanks. So they had to dig up the parking lot and then flat,
Tomorrow they're cutting the chimney to change the flue.
They already changed the boiler out.
And in the fall, they're gonna be changing every single light fixture and replacing it with energy efficient lighting.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed at Pembroke, some of the lights are open, but that's because
Yep.
next week, after the first week of school, they're coming to change all the lights. So instead of us paying for lights that they're just gonna rip out and throw away, that's why it's left like that.
But the frustrating thing for the custodians, and we really found this at the high school, was they cleaned a room and they checked it off that the room was finished, and then they went in to clean the univents out, and they blew all the dust all over the room. So we kept saying, what's wrong with these rooms? And then we realized, we got behind 2 guys that were doing it. You know, they're not going to clean up after themselves, but they were cleaning out the univents. So it's like, some rooms had to be done
So that,
twice.
there's been just the timing was just, very challenging, but of course,
It's hard.
when would you do it?
It's
If
hard.
school was operating during the school year, so, they are
And
trying
we really
to,
benefit from it. They're
We have.
replacing air compressors for air conditioners.
oh, it's gonna
and
make a
different
big
things, so-
difference.
Oh, good.
And
the
you'll
air
notice
quality.
that we did, if you look at the high school bank, all those sort of older, that was all landscaped.
Yeah.
If you go to the Pembroke, the courtyards, have been, and that was a job. The court, oh my.
So who did the courtyards? Normally, like, parents come in and do it, was
We
it all
had
the?
landscape.
We
We
paid a
hired,
company.
we hired a landscaper.
Nice.
A
We
parent,
had to.
there was a parent at Pembroke trying to do it, but
Right.
it was
Yeah,
awful
it's-
with
One
bees, and it
volunteer.
was just terrible.
One, yeah, I didn't see, so,
Yeah.
usually like a group of parents get together, so it must not.
Well,
But yeah, the bees.
It was too
uh,
overgrown.
and
We're
the
gonna try to
poison ivy.
maintain it, so that it doesn't get overgrown like that, so you could have parents come in and do it, but I wouldn't even have known where to begin. And when I looked at it today, I didn't know there was a bird bath in one of the things.
Yeah, oh, no,
Because
there's-
everything was just overgrown.
Yeah.
It looks really nice now.
Yeah.
Good, I'll have to
yeah.
go in and look.
And you have been dealing with the,
Bees
and
mice issues.
and the
that
mice
type of
issues this
Right,
year.
we hired a new
stuff. Exterminator.
exterminator to handle that, because we weren't satisfied with the progress we were making with the other one, so.
Good.
And we're happy with this.
Yeah, we've updated our IPM with the state and all that kind of stuff.
It's been an amazing effort to get
lot
everything
of
ready.
work.
And just the teachers, the flexibility, has been amazing. The administrators have, really been working, with Mike to try to coordinate efforts, and it's been a true, teamwork, I guess would be the best way to describe it.
I don't think people realize just how many parts there are that need to be coordinated and how much
No.
effort there is involved in after something has happened. And if it wasn't for the people involved who were doing this work, so great job.
Right, we had some young kids that helped us,
Yeah.
and they worked
had
really,
high school
really
kids.
well, high
People
school.
worked really hard.
And I have to say, I gotta give credit to Joan too. I mean, here she is, she got hired July 1st, and all these projects are going on, and, thankfully Mike was there to do it, but, Joan jumped right in there and helped coordinate the efforts too, so, I'm really excited about
Thank
the
you.
start of the year, and I do feel like, we're opening and things are looking good, and, people feel good when they come in and things look good
What'd you say?
and things
Said
look
we've been a
clean.
great team.
Yes, you have been a great team.
That's great.
Yes.
That's
Okay,
great.
well, thank you very much, both of you.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Thanks,
So,
How do you wanna
do we
do the-
want to start from the top down, go high school down?
Sure, go ahead.
What do you think?
Verbiage, that's you.
All right.
I thought it looked great. What I had said to both of the principals is and to Mike is that you can only do so much. And I think everything that we possibly could have done was done. Just some of the things that I noticed was like the floor that they had told me, where the water had come in and buckled the floor in a lot of places. We're waiting for that FEMA grant, so there's nothing we can do about that. It doesn't look pretty in that area, but it's
It's off the beaten
yeah,
path,
it's off the
yeah.
beaten path, so it
And
wouldn't
I think
be.
it's safe, that
Yeah,
they've
it does
made
look safe.
arrangements that it's not gonna cause a problem for
Right.
students.
The tile work looks great.
Yeah.
The room behind Mr. Gill's office, the teacher's room there I didn't see it before, but it's much brighter.
Yeah.
And the teacher's lounge looked great. The classrooms all looked, I thought, really nice and ready to move in. It looked good. I was happy with it. There were places in that school that I've never been to. I've never
Oh,
been
yeah.
to. And, the cameras that were installed, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, there was an improvement in that, yeah.
Yeah. And, no, I thought it looked great. Mike's done a great job, and I loved, as soon as I pulled in and I saw the new mulch and
Yeah,
everything, I
yeah.
thought that looked
Yeah.
welcoming, so that looked good. The only thing I did mention in the summertime, like playing baseball in that area, there's, walking up the stairs to, behind where our boys would sit, or girls, no, I think it's just a baseball field. So there was a lot of weeds and stuff, very overgrown, that some of the parents on the opposing team wouldn't even,
Was that?
Attempt.
That's taken care of now though, right? Or is it still weedy?
There's still somebody's.
yeah, they wouldn't even attempt to, and even, I was thinking, when the kids did the baseball camp, the police baseball camp that they hold there, a couple of the kids mentioned too there that there were thorns and stuff around, so I just think that would look so much
Okay,
better and
good.
more
We
welcoming.
can take care of that.
Great job.
Actually, one of the things we should mention is one of the things that we didn't have very good, and the override really did help us initially with this, but we also did budget some money for this year. And that is to get more up-to-date machinery.
Yeah.
So like, for example, we do all this work getting the floors shiny, but then we don't have the machine that we can run that continues to clean them and shine them.
Shine it.
So the poor custodians do all that work, and then within 2 weeks, it looks like it was never done. So we have, judiciously purchased some equipment.
We showed it to Bobby.
Yeah, it was big.
Yeah.
I saw the one in Pembroke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how often do you do that? Like, what would the normal maintenance period be of every,
Hopefully it'll be every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
so every single day they would get, after school?
Or
They would-
or even before school,
Yeah. We
before
also
everybody
bought-
comes in.
Wow,
We also bought burnishes too, so they keep the tile shining.
well, we spent all that money.
And we
to
bought a
put a new
little
tile.
machine that does the
Makes it
cove
look
base.
nice,
Because I've always drawn, my eyes always drawn to the cove base. So, and then the stairs going up, with that like puckered,
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but that surface, that's always hard to keep clean, but this little cove base machine keeps that clean. So, I'm very excited. And then I think the other thing, did you notice those two bathrooms that they?
Oh, in the calf? Yeah,
The
that was,
bathrooms in the CAF were always
painted.
a challenge,
Yep.
to keep clean, and the public sees them. That's what the public sees. And actually, some of our guys actually
get all that work.
rebuilt the bathroom, really. And the tiles, so everything is bright and fresh and clean and,
For the grout.
what is it?
But it looks
No
good,
grout.
they did
Yeah, it
nice
was good.
paint job and everything.
So that, I think a lot of the work was done at the high school, yes.
Nice.
Okay, thank you, Barbie.
Thank you.
Well, as far as Pembroke is concerned, it is what it is. It's an old, very old school. With that said, I think in general, you walk in and you can feel that it's clean. It looks like people care, and particularly the cafeteria. What you folks did with the cafeteria that was pretty good.
What'd they do?
They painted murals in the back.
The
and
kids
then
did
the
that, right? The
ceiling-
high school kids.
And the ceiling was
nice.
painted a color white, so it feels much lighter.
So what about the previous murals that were on the wall? We just painted over them?
No,
Or are
no.
they still there?
Those are still there. It's
Those
on
are
the
still
other
Talking
wall.
when the kids come into the cafeteria, like go in to get their food,
Yeah, from
that
the-
whole
In the
wall
back.
is
Oh,
completely
in the
painted.
a whole
kitchen
new wall,
area,
yes.
like the kitchen area.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We talked
They call
about
it the
that at the
Pembroke
foods.
Cafe, yes, that's right, that was
about
that was a follow-up for the
Oh,
foods
good.
discussion.
So that was good. The courtyard's a huge improvement. I guess mulch is not part of what was purchased for the
We
courtyards?
talked
Question mark?
about it, and actually the guy who did the landscaping, I know Dr. Tanner would like the mulch, but, one, they've run out of time, but the other thing is, he thought we'd be wasting our money with mulch. He thought we'd be better off to continually weed it and think of maybe putting down something permanent to
Stop
keep
the
the mulch out and
weeds.
that kind of stuff.
To keep the mulch.
I mean, to keep
Keep the weeds out?
Yeah, before we put the mulch down, so he said, with the timing, there just wouldn't be enough time. I
You
mean,
also have to then bring the mulch through the school.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
They couldn't
With
blow
the
it in like
interior.
over,
With the
I know they do
crane.
those
Yeah.
blowers,
they
but that
probably
would.
could, I don't know,
Yeah.
could afford that.
That
But
could be a
didn't,
messy
some of the
event, too.
courtyards do have that weed, it looked like they
Yeah,
had that,
right.
They also
that netting.
they also have
Fabric.
rock, you
Yeah.
know, stones.
It's a
Yeah.
weed fabric.
Yeah, some of
Yes.
them have it, right?
Yep, they do. It
And when
looks
we
pretty
weed it-
old,
Yeah,
and you're not supposed to be looking at it. But,
Right.
They only get a couple years.
But I'm surprised that he would say that the mulch would be wasting your money. I wouldn't think that would be the case. That hasn't been my experience anyways,
Yeah.
with making it easier to, but anyways. Let's see, so that was the cafeteria. The bathrooms looked great. Those old horse troughs, whatever you want to call those, they are what they are.
That's
They're
a
old.
good description.
But there's a name for them.
What are, they're what you wash your
Yeah,
hands
yeah,
by
yeah.
without touching
Gross.
anything. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
pedestal with a bowl and.
they don't even work though, right?
No,
So why don't we take them out?
because it's
Well-
quite a project when you take them
Well, then
out.
the
Yeah,
question
that
is, what would
question
you
was
put,
asked.
in
The
place of it?
curiosity is always, I don't know, curiosity is always here with the kids.
I think there was discussion, I think that is quite I think there was one that was tried to be taken out in the bathroom, one of the bathrooms, and it ended up being
A
a
real-
much more of a project than we thought it was going to be. And I think there's still discussion about, well, if we're going to be looking at the school, you know, if it
Cross that
needs to
bridge
be done, we would do it, but in the scope of time, effort, and value, we determined that it, you know, they are a conversation piece as they exist now, and they're really not hurting
history.
anything.
They're
No,
a piece
no,
of
I think they're,
history.
I think they're
I
fun.
keep saying I'd put plants in them myself.
Well, that's what I was saying. We were saying.
Make little
let's
planters.
put planters in them. Anyways, and there was one other thing. What was it? The gym. No, I guess that was generally it. But it looked good. Oh, I know what it was. The classrooms, the individual classrooms, all looked really good, and you could just see the effort that the teachers had put into getting ready and work. You know, and they had to coordinate their time and efforts working with the cleaning going on, and the classrooms were just ready to go. And I know the kids are chomping at the bit to get in.
And we did do all of our summer programming because of the Pearly Roof. All the elementary summer programming was done at Pembroke this year. So that actually made it even a little more complicated because none of those rooms on that side that were being used by the program could be used until the program was done. So
So the
that was
teachers
another
at Pembroke probably
complicated.
had less time
They
than usual
did.
to prepare their
They did,
classrooms as
yeah.
well as Pearlie, yes.
And it's worth mentioning again, it's a new pest management program that we have there, correct? That's just worth
correct.
mentioning. Okay, so that was great.
And I had the pleasure of seeing the Pearly School today. And the Pearly School has really been the focus of a lot of the difficult work that's taken place this
That's
summer
the
in
best.
terms of repairing the roof and you know, the upgrades to the ventilators and the oil tanks. And there's been just a lot of construction work going on. But this evening, it was in tip-top shape. I was very, very impressed. There's new paint when you come into the hallways. There's new paint. There's, you know, new tiled hallway flooring in certain places, as many places as possible. Everything looks very clean and upkept. The ceilings have been, you know, the tiles have been replaced where they needed to be replaced from moisture and water damage. And the classrooms are in excellent shape. I was really impressed. I saw every single classroom. You know, I thank you, Margaret. We really did take a very complete tour of the whole school. And, you know, from what I understand, the teachers had a lot less time than usual to put everything in order and to clean the rooms and to make everything welcoming and warm and friendly. And they did it. They did a magnificent job. They must have worked very, very hard. They just came in Monday. Monday was the first day
The
they were
first day they could come in was Monday.
allowed to come in and do that. And so I was very, very impressed. The library looks beautiful as usual. We went down to the basement. Everything's looking good. The only thing is I can see that the art room is, you know, there is a lack of storage space with district-wide, and so there's still some things being stored there, but I understand they're going to be moved by the time school opens, and so that will be all ready. And, you know, I was just very, very pleased and impressed with the shape of the school. It looks warming and welcoming and good, great. Thank you so much for all the hard work. I can see a lot has been done,
We'll be
especially
happy
at the
to
Pearly.
Pass the information on to the custodians, because I know they will love to hear.
Oh, and the
positive.
the tile floors are shining, and it's beautiful.
And they changed some product this year and tried some new things, so, you know, Mike experimented with a few things, and the custodians, you know, got some, like I said, new processes that they were using, and they were very willing to try it, and I think the results are definitely being seen.
Yeah, sparkling.
Okay.
All right.
I
so
think
maybe
that
we'll
takes
just-
care of that.
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll just hear the school reports now. I don't know, why don't you all come up at the
So-
same time? Come on up, Miss Dane.
And as part of this section, but to tack on to the end of Peter's presentation, if the board wouldn't mind, if Peter wouldn't mind, he also had a part coming up at the end,
Pull up chairs, guys.
which was under new business, Georgetown Middle High School Teacher Staff Handbook approval. So I was thinking that we'd just plug that in at the end of Peter's and the school reports. It's the same
That
topic.
would make sense. Yeah.
Welcome, everybody.
Hi. They are.
All right, so, volunteer to go first, anybody?
I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
gonna go
I was gonna go
Usually
Peter
first.
goes last, so.
Yeah, this is my big chance.
I like when they vary from
Mix
the
things up a
program.
little.
It's listed very specifically.
Flexibility.
I know.
Okay, so I kind of broke this down into some categories. So I'll start with staffing. We hired 7 new teachers in the high school this year. Mr. William Adams Jr. For our social emotional program, Ryan Corbett in social studies, Sandra Schwartzkopf for social studies, Suzanne DeCola in math, Tara Early for our Compass program, Carol Esposito for our Learning Skills program. Hannah Gansenberg was moved from the middle school to the high school in English, and Sarah Ulrich in English. We have 3 new middle high school teachers, those that teach in both. Anthony Messina is our new band director, who's in town. I was worried about
he
that
came
for a
and
little
visited me
while.
today.
Saw him.
Yes, he's very excited.
Nicole Murphy, who was our new .5 therapist, and Cheryl Sorois, who was a long-term art substitute and will be here for the first 8 weeks or 12 weeks?
12 weeks, I think.
12 weeks. We also have some new support staff. William Adams Sr. went from athletic director to in-school suspension coordinator. Jacob Hanlon is a special ed aide, Erica Giuliano, who's a special aide in the middle school, is now coming, in the Compass program, is coming down with the Compass program in the high school, and Kristen Kennedy is a special ed aide. And we have one vacancy so far. That we're still looking for a middle high school head custodian. So we're looking to fill that in the near future.
And you have it updated, the staffing in there, so you can refer to that as well.
Facilities, just some things that we've talked about most of that already, but like Barbie alluded to, the landscaping project. Actually, it was a mess, if you know, when you came up to the middle high school. The rows of gooses just kind of overtook everything. There was some nice plants in there.
Well, I'm impressed by that. The what overtook?
Rows of ragusa.
Peter grows roses, he's a
Yeah.
flower guy, he knows his stuff.
Their roots actually grow sideways, and so they keep coming up all over the place.
Invasive species.
Yes, they are. So, and we had some good stuff in there that kind of just got eaten up by those things. So we cut all the roses back, and we put some new things in there that are going to bloom in all parts of the season except the winter. So there's some things that are going to get
Cool.
pink in the fall, and we have some spring things and some summer things. So
Oh,
it ought to
nice.
look real nice, and those roses are going to come back. So we'll keep a better eye on those this time
Does
around.
it look so much better?
Yeah, it does, and it really sets the stage
Important.
for the middle high school. And I just want to say that I am still, look, just in case there's any people that
money.
want to donate
Oh,
anything out there. If you drive by Haverhill High, they have this unbelievable brand new electronic sign. It's color and everything. They have pictures of kids on there and all kinds
Just
of
there,
stuff.
I didn't notice it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I will.
So I've been saving for an electronic sign for some time now. We have it in one of the accounts somewhere. Usually we get some donations, or the senior class usually gives us some money. So still looking to put that in, and
Now, how much would something like that cost?
that I really don't know. The one I was looking at that can't do what that one does was around $10,000. So
They're not cheap.
this one is like it's an LCD, I imagine. So I don't know, but we have some contacts trying to get a hold of some people at Haverhill High right now. So we're gonna find out and see what we can do on
Can I
that.
just ask, where exactly would that be? If
That would go right when you come in.
Watching it?
It would be looking right at you as you start to go up the hill before you take a left. We have a wooden sign there. It's actually down right now. It was vandalized this summer.
Oh,
So, and it says, welcome to, it says Georgetown Junior Senior High School.
Yeah.
So we need a new one anyway.
it sounds like
So
it.
we're gonna go modern.
Okay.
So.
It would look nice.
It would
It would look beautiful, yeah. So, we have a new storage container, because if you've ever followed any of the NEAS stuff, we don't have any storage in the middle high school. And we had one container last year, it isn't enough, we have another one out there. As Barbie said, we did a lot of tile work in the building, lots of painting. Transformed the foods room to the Compass room right now. It looks really good. We made 2 special ed offices in the back of that room that was once a walk-through closet. We renovated the cafeteria bathrooms, which I think is going to be very, very important, because they were in such bad shape. Kids really didn't want to use them.
No, they look really good.
Kids are gonna be excited about
So
that.
it looks really good.
will.
It really does.
I was
No.
very impressed with the way you can find, like you said, two offices are now in like a formally a closet.
Right.
So they really utilized every
Yeah.
space that they could, and it looks good. I mean,
Yeah, they did a good job. And we hope that the football field will be in a little better condition. We did a lot of work on that in the springtime. We aerated it and we sanded it, and hopefully to get better drainage in the field. But it's a short-term solution, no doubt. Equipment. All the books are in. We have new computer labs. That's the good news. The bad news, they came in last week. So we're going to do our best to get those up and running before school starts. So unfortunately, if that is the priority, instruction is always the priority. So we probably might have some teachers that don't have their computers hooked up for a little bit and things like that. But
we have to take care of instruction first. We got 3 document cameras for the math department, which is something that's pretty common in the elementary schools, but not at all in the high school. So our high school teachers are a little excited to do that. It's used mostly in the math classes. Hopefully, with your approval, we'll have 4 new copiers tomorrow morning. And that will be a challenge because those need to be programmed and things like that, because those are networked. And I would just say, keep in mind that we went to these network copiers the last time it was probably like 4 years ago, when we did those leases to eliminate most of the teacher printers. And we're saving a lot of money in ink. So they are important, and it's not only a copier, for most teachers, it's their printer also. We have several new security cameras installed for security reasons. I can't tell you where they are. And we have, I think, 12 or 16 more that will be installed very shortly once we get going. And we have a new tractor. We have an amazing vehicle that washes the floors
Yes.
that look like a Zamboni. So hopefully we won't see Mr. Prescott riding around on that.
Yeah, there used to be arguments about who got to ride the Kubota when we first got it.
Yeah.
Who took possession of the pagoda?
I only got to ride on that
Yeah.
once. But, so we're looking good there. Things that directly relate to students, we had a peer mentor training a couple weeks ago, so our peer leaders are all ready to go. We had our 9th grade orientation yesterday, and the 9th graders were introduced to their peer leaders. Got their lockers, they're all ready to go. Schedules are ready. Enrollment for next year is 415 students as we stand right now. Our average class size for academic classes in the high school is 17. So we're looking pretty good.
Very good.
Thanks, Peter. Good report.
Thank you, Peter.
Should we go right down?
Wherever you want.
Might as well.
I'll jump in a little bit, because I assume when you were referring to we, you were referring to us, because
Yes.
I've actually been very lucky. Being a middle school on top of a high school can be very challenging. It can be a tug of war sometimes, and there really hasn't been. We work very well together. And especially, I noticed this summer, it was my first summer here. And there was a lot of work to do. And it was very well coordinated. I congratulate, is Mike still here? He left. He and his crew did a tremendous job when things had to be done, gone back over. They were accepting of that. They took responsibility. They did a fantastic job, and the place looks great. I'll start off with the physical plant information also, just a couple of things that Peter didn't mention. In regards to repainting, there was a lot of repainting done throughout the building, and particularly in the 3rd floor. The front area, when you go into the middle school, on the 3rd floor, there's an atrium area where the main offices are, and there's a ramp that goes up, and it was, to be perfectly frank, depressing. It was dark and hadn't been touched in a long time. That's all since been repainted with a nice soft white. It's much more welcoming. That's where we're going to showcase some student work during the year this year, and it just looks completely different, and it has a completely different feel to it, which is exactly what we were looking for. That includes the tiling of the staff room. There was a much older rug in there that was pretty beat up, and the place now has a beautiful tile floor, thanks to Mr. Lucia's help, and the comments are already coming back that people are excited about it. They can feel a difference, at least in that room and in the area, which is, again, what we were going for. So that worked. The other thing I thought you wanted to mention was that we did have the guys stop at one point this week and focus on repairing all the screens throughout the high school and the middle school, especially with the spraying and the mosquitoes. So if people are concerned that the windows will be open, because I'm sure we'll still have some hot days, They are secured, and they've all been repaired. On to new staff. Without being repetitive, I'll skip over the ones I remember that you mentioned, but we have a new foreign language teacher for Spanish and French, Miss Courtney Arrigo. And Sydney Smith will be a new middle school math science teacher. Cheryl Soroyo, I think you mentioned.
Yep.
Long-term art substitute. Bridget Wallace will be the teacher in the Compass classroom for the middle school. Kristen Kennedy, I believe, is yours.
Yep.
Okay, she was listed twice on my list. And Nicole Murphy will be a therapist. We'll be sharing her in the building on a 0.5 basis. Ted Sharenda, who was a high school teacher, he'll still be 0.2 in the high school.
Yep.
And he'll be teaching middle school social studies. And Sherry Patella will be returning to a full-time position as grade 8 science. I think we've hired very well, and I think that's probably one of the most important things we do. And these people are sharp, they're well qualified, and they're good for kids. And I think we're going to have a lot of success with these people. So I'm really excited about it. In regards to this summer and the upcoming year, the grade 6 orientation took place a couple of weeks ago. It was very well attended. The kids were able to spend a lot of time upstairs, thanks to Miss Francis and her grade 8 mentors. They gave all the incoming 6th grade students a pretty comprehensive tour. They were able to go into each one of their classrooms for a 5 or 6 minute period. They were able to spend some time getting their locker buddies, which is usually the most important thing on their minds, and were able to take about 35 minutes to walk through opening lockers and getting used to lockers, which will really help when we have startup time next week. That can really have a lot of downtime. And they felt pretty comfortable when they left, especially because they got free popsicles and got to hang out for a while. So, but it was very, I would say 90% of the people who weren't on vacation were there, and just about those other 10% came in throughout the summer and had little private tours. So I was able to meet just about everyone on a pretty personal basis, which was great. Some things that we're looking at this year, we're going to be instituting a Student of the Month program, as well as a Principal Student Advisory Council, which will incorporate all 3 grades. We're also in the process of investigating a student council program, and we're just looking at a couple of different ones right now. We're trying to decide as a team what the most appropriate form will be. But we're looking to do that and to try to give the students as much of a voice as we can. Class sizes, since you mentioned them, in grade 6, I'll try to be as specific as I can. I believe we're at 18.2 right now. Grade 7, 21.2, and grade 8 around 25.4. Certainly as it lends itself to curriculum and instruction, teachers have been working extremely hard this summer. There's been a lot of training, especially in the area of ELA. We're really focused on alignment of all the curriculum, further alignment of all the curriculum this year, with a major focus on ELA and a couple of pretty innovative programs, a word recognition vocabulary program being one of them, that's going to cross disciplines and be intertwined into all the enrichment and enhancement programs, as well as each of the core disciplines. And Mrs. Lamoli has taken and spearheaded that effort. And we've had several teachers trained, so we're really excited about that. So obviously that's the main focus, but the other one is student involvement and recognition on a regular basis, as well as continuing to increase our homeschool communication.
Great.
I think that's about it from me.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
you.
Okay, all right. Again, this has been an extremely busy summer, and as Carol said, I don't know what we would have done had this been a little shorter. If we'd started this week, I'm not sure how.
We would have had some people working night shifts, I have a feeling.
To get it finished. As you know, the roof is being rebuilt, but early on in the summer, I think one of the first big storms in July, before the roof was fully covered, there was some leaking in the ceiling, which resulted in some interior work that had to be done. So throughout the summer, there's been the construction on the roof, but now they had moved inside, and we have complete tile where there was carpet. We have complete, there are suspended ceilings, but maybe 3 or 4 inches down. So all new ceiling tiles, fresh paint. We're going to order rugs for the classroom. So a beautiful wing when children return. And let's see. The exterior, the roof will not be finished by the time school starts, but we have worked out with the construction company that they will finish on the playground side so that children can go outside, and then they'll continue the work on the other side of the school and then the eaves.
But by the end of September, the
They'll be
plan is
finished
they'll
with
be
all the
finished
work.
completely.
Do they,
And they're only working on Saturdays and Sundays. They're not working during the school day.
do they have any penalties as part of schedules?
No, I think, I mean,
It was, there was the goal to finish,
Yeah.
but again,
it was ambitious.
it's very difficult to overstate the amount of work that
Yeah.
needed doing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really just phenomenal on everybody's part. The diversified, just, the town personnel, the engineers, it's just really been a tremendous amount of work. Now, the tile company, again, the tile is laid, it needs to be waxed this weekend, so we're not done. I don't know if you're familiar with that show Trading Spaces, but we're in Trading Spaces up until Wednesday morning, we're going to be working, but it will be done when children come in.
And the end result will be beautiful.
It will be beautiful, and you can really see that it's going to be.
And very close.
But I do, again, our maintenance crew, Mike Anderson, Eric Stevenson, Jacob Hamlin, Todd Stewart, Tim Regan, did a phenomenal job. We're busy during the year. Summer maybe tends to be a time where we get to catch our breath, not for the maintenance crew. They have been flat out, so they did a great job. Jack Howland and Ryan Brown did outside maintenance, again, mulched and weeded and planted mums and, mowed the lawns, and so they've done a phenomenal job. We are fortunate, John McGee will be our part-time custodian coming back. I know he's been well-loved. We lost him a couple years ago, so we're happy to have him back. I also want to thank Camille Early, my secretary, who worked throughout the summer. And I say, other than June, which is an incredibly busy time for everybody, August is like June. It's the second busiest time. So she's done a great job getting everything ready. As you know, Pearly Pals program was housed at Pembroke this summer because of the construction, and that was very successful. The summer camp is run in 2-week increments, and we had about 192 children enrolled in all the sessions. Not 192 separate children, some of those children might have repeated, but in all the sessions combined, about 192 children, so that was successful. Pearly teachers participated in professional development, which included mapping curriculum using the Atlas software. Some teachers participated in Writers' Workshop, which was through the Teaching and Learning Alliance. And staff also participated in training through Melmark on working with children with developmental disabilities using applied behavior analysis. Internally, the music room was moved back downstairs. I remember last year telling you that I had moved the music room upstairs, replacing a classroom. It was a little loud, I think, for people trying to work underneath them. So the music is going to be back downstairs. Is that an
Understatement.
understatement?
But thank you, Margaret.
Do you work
for
underneath
making the
them?
change. I was not as affected as the people in Joan's side of the house.
So we were lucky that we were able to do that. Early intervention will remain in the school. They have a play group weekly, so they actually will share the space with music, but we don't have music classes on Tuesday morning when EI was there, so that should work out. And then the motor room was moved upstairs, so you might hear a little trampoline jumping, but it should be a little bit quieter.
Not as loud.
And I will continue to work with Barry Belanger through the year to streamline our website and also refine the look to reflect our values and beliefs. And again, last year that was a goal to go paperless. And I want to let everybody know that we continue to strive to be paperless. So for school menu and other news, please check our website. Also, this summer, we worked with Kathy DeWitt, who is the children's librarian at the public library, to coordinate a reading program. Kathy DeWitt has always run a program through the library, and we had a modest program in school. This year, we combined and coordinated together so that we could offer gold medals and for children who read, and also coordinating with Kathy that we could, again, use the same sign-up. There would be an incentive for children to participate in the reading program through the library. She emailed to me a couple weeks ago that normally she has about 100 children sign up district-wide, and this year it was over 200. So I attribute that to our coordinated effort.
Working together, that's great.
I also want to remind parents that parking is still a problem at Pearlie. That has not been resolved. So please, we need to make sure that parents don't drive through the circle except to access the handicap parking, because that is teacher parking, if parents are coming into the school to find the visitor parking 1 through 12. And the other spots are assigned. And I do ask that parents try to park on the street or legally in the library and then walk over, especially at dismissal, picking up their children. This year, we offered school choice with 5 spaces in kindergarten and 5 spaces in grade 1, and all 10 of those are filled. To date, I have 99 children enrolled in pre-K, and that is in 2 full-day classrooms with 2 full-day teachers. We do have different configurated programs, a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, a Tuesday, Thursday, and then a Monday through Friday. And then I have 2 half-day sessions, a morning and an afternoon. So 99 children in all those configurated classes. I have 98 kindergartners in 5 classes, and then 100 children in grade 1. And staff is fairly stable. I am looking, though, for a .2 art teacher. So if anyone out there wants to teach art 6 hours, I'd be delighted.
Before moving on, site issues, when you leave the horseshoe, I think there's a site issue, a site distance issue. You know the hedge that closes down when you leave the horseshoe?
Yes.
Well, when you pull up before you come to the sidewalk portion, you can't see. The hedge comes in really close, and it's high enough so that if there was someone below the height of that, they could easily step out in front of, if someone wasn't paying attention and looking. So it's a site triangle issue, and it's pretty easy to fix.
How would you fix it, Rob?
What I would do is I would go out there and I would use that point to measure, and then I think it's an arborvitae, I think it's a privet hedge, and I would probably just go back and find where the different shrubs themselves are,
Yeah.
and just remove whichever shrubs are necessary. And the face, and it's not a lot, but then the face that's going to be sticks will grow back in. It's a great shrub that way. But
Okay, so
anyways,
maybe we can pick your brain a little further about that when you're
yeah,
ready.
but
to
it is a health issue, a
Okay,
safety issue.
okay, all right.
I just was noticing.
And I did want to just comment about teachers, that the teachers have been in all summer in the constructed part of the school, but the teachers in our wing that are under construction were not able to get into Monday. So I just want to, again, just let everybody know what a great job all teachers do. Elementary teachers love coming in, and it really pains them not to be able to.
Yes.
So they have done a phenomenal
They did
job
an amazing
setting
job.
up and being
Things
ready.
have worked very
You'd
well.
never know, they literally had 2 days
Yeah.
to do what the rooms look like now. It's just unbelievable. Thank you, Margaret.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So
Donna?
at Pembroke, we've been busy, similar to the other schools, new painting. We painted our doors blue, and then we also painted the cafeteria. And we also tried to touch up our painting around the school to make it kind of look clean when the kids come in. So that we've been busy doing those things. We also are gonna get some new mulch for our playground area because that's a busy area for us, for our kids. We hope to have that ready for the kids when they come in. We've hired some new staff. We have a new third grade teacher, Jen Coletta. We have 2 teachers that are taking maternity leave, so we have Ann Markevich and Gretchen Mayer that'll be working for Monica McGinnis, and Tiffany Hooler. Been in visiting many times with their
Yes,
new
their
boys.
babies are adorable.
So, yeah, our Pembroke family is growing. We also hired a new social communication room teacher, Brooke O'Neill, and we're also welcoming Kim Reel, who is coming over from Pearlie and will be working at Pembroke this year. We do have 1 vacancy for a special education paraprofessional. We're still looking for that. I want to thank Mike Anderson, as everybody's, Mike Anderson, our custodians. They've been phenomenal this, summer, working hard. And we had the Pembroke Academy and Pearlie. So it was, challenging for them because half the school was busy. And the staff that worked at the camp did a phenomenal job this summer. It was great to have kids still in the building in the summer. It can get really quiet, but it was nice having the kids around, and it was great to be able to interact when I needed a break to go in and see them. So it's always awesome to have them around. I can't say enough about my secretary, who I dragged off the Cape again in August, and she's been phenomenal. I guess the big news at Pembroke this year is we have 20 new students and 9 new families. So Diane's been very busy explaining the rules and how pickup goes at Pembroke and all the ins and outs of our building and trying to get them acclimated. She really takes the time to really, make parents feel welcome and take them around the building. So our enrollment is really increased. We're up to 482 students, and we have 135 in 5th grade, 119 in 4th, which makes our classroom size 24 in every 4th grade classroom. And in 3rd grade, every classroom has 24, and we have 118. And then in 2nd grade, 110. So we're keeping our fingers crossed, because it seems like every day a new family comes in.
They're hoping it's not a 3rd and 4th grader.
But, it's great because we get a chance to show off our school, and they've heard wonderful things about Georgetown. So I think it's a credit to our school district that they are excited about moving here and excited about our school system, and the kids are very excited. So we're happy about that. Again, our teachers, elementary teachers are unique in that they want to spend as much time as they can in their classrooms. They can't wait till the rooms are done. They'll start emailing me, August 1st, is my room done? Is my room done? Can I get in? And they'll spend a lot of time in their classroom. And this week alone, I think the whole school was in visiting because we had open houses. We had our PTA fundraiser, which they had the supplies, so they were in picking up the fundraiser. So they were in and out, touring the building, checking out the classroom, seeing where the teachers signed them, where they're sitting. So it was really, an exciting time. And the kids we've had twice as many kids signed up for extended day. So our for the first day, the parents were in. And then enrichment seems to be very popular this year. Our teachers are trying to, we have quite a few teachers interested in new enrichment activities, so they've been really telling Elizabeth all the activities. So we're excited about that. We do have summer reading and summer math that they will be doing. Similar for our younger kids, we'll be doing the medal system. And for our older kids, we're doing what we call like book talks, making them videos live, so they can actually sell the book on our website. So we're hoping to get that up and running, thanks to Maureen O'Connor, who's coordinating that. I also wanted to mention that we do have Rob Evans, who's the school council this year decided we wanted to bring in Rob Evans to kind of talk about family matters. He's written a great book. We're really excited to have him. If anybody's had a chance to hear him speak, he spoke over at Brookwood last year, and he's going to come in and speak, and it's open to every parent in Georgetown. But he's very entertaining. He's awesome. He's a psychologist by trade, but involved in schools. His wife was a high school principal. He's written a couple books. He's The Human Side of School Change and Family Matters. But I think he's just going to really talk about, family, raising kids in the 21st century and how difficult that job is for us all. In light of all the things that are happening and they're exposed to on TV. We also have, thanks to the PTA, have somebody coming in to talk about cyberbullying, making kids aware of internet safety in early September when we first start school. So we're thankful for the PTA for sponsoring that this year. And we're going to kick off with that with our kids, because more and more of our kids, even our youngest kids, have iPods that are handed down by a sister or brother, and we have wireless in the building, and we tell them we're tracking them, but they get pretty wise when they're in 5th grade, moving on, and so we can pull them a little bit, but they are always by my office trying to get in, so we think it's really important that we just kind of educate them and give them, the information, particularly early. So we welcome our new families and welcome our Pembroke families back, and we're looking forward to a great year.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Then, just in general, how are the schools, the physical buildings ready for, I don't know who it was that talked about screens and mosquitoes, but
Brian.
the alert that's in town and the physical buildings, has it been something that's been discussed? And then the administration, has that been something
The
that's been
Triple E?
discussed? Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we've certainly had to talk about it at the middle high school regarding the athletic programs.
Yep.
You know, because that's definitely forced some alternative arrangements.
And we'll be under a curfew until the first killing frost.
Killing frost.
And is that up to our Board of Health, or is that a state mandate curfew?
There's a recommendation of our Board of Health.
Right.
It's a
That
recommendation about-
communicates with the state.
And they continue to spray and they continue to test, but that's their recommendation is until, and we did that last year. We
Yeah.
did it till the first killing frost.
Everybody's supposed to be off the fields and into the building by 5:30.
Right. So it doesn't affect us during the day, but it does affect us, any activities after 5 o'clock.
I know there are some, children that are pretty scared about it. And I understand where they're coming from, and I don't know if the schools themselves want to have a day or something where they talk about it versus.
Kind of what to do, like the precautionary measures and that kind of thing?
I suppose that, but even more so the facts behind the statistics of just how, you stand a greater chance of getting hit by a bolt of lightning than you do.
Oh.
But I'm trying to ease their fear.
Right.
And because some of them, they're at an age where they're really, some of them are pretty spooked out. And if the school could play a role in trying to help ease that fear, just a thought.
That might be something that the nurses in their newsletters or anything could give information to parents. And
Well, I
the
definitely
parents could
think,
tell kids
starting from
and-
what they're talking about in terms of the actual physical plan. So working on making sure the screens in the windows don't have holes,
Right.
making sure the windows that are being opened
assuring
have
the kids they're not
screens.
gonna get hit.
I know, that's a real
School.
challenge at Pembroke, but, I think every room at least has one screen. The Board of Health has suggested that we, if it's a particularly, a certain day where it's really moist or that we think there's a lot of mosquito activity, to obviously err on the side of caution and not have kids go outside for recess. And obviously, we've made adjustments to the sports schedules. And really, the thing they've emphasized in any conversation I've had with them is, and I think they're putting it out for the public, is, just making sure you have bug spray on, making sure that you cover, if you're going in an area where you're apt to interact with mosquitoes, to cover your arms and your legs to avoid, being bitten. So again, that's kind of the precautions that I think, we already do and we're prepared to do. But certainly, the principals can think a little bit more about what you're saying, Rob, if they see it's a fear, just to give people some facts.
Yeah, and
about it.
sometimes the kids are the best at just plain, if you give them an opportunity to tell you
Yeah,
what's going
yeah,
on.
exactly, how they feel about it,
Um,
what they're
And I
worried.
don't think so much for your end of it, but I think down at younger kids, but, so
That
that was
also
just something.
might be a topic for the Health and Wellness Advisory Committee to discuss.
Can I add one more thing? Sorry, when you're talking about the plan. I do want to thank my pre-K parent group, my preschool parent group, for putting up a pergola in the
Oh.
playground over the sandbox and providing a little bit of shelter for children. And they've also donated mulch. So I just want to make sure
Yeah,
that
they're
I
a good
thank them
group.
for their efforts.
We are
It looks
truly,
beautiful. It really
we are
does.
truly blessed to have so many people in town who make so many generous donations and work so
We
hard on
are.
behalf of the schools to support the students. So
They're
it's
wonderful.
really,
It's a wonderful.
it's really quite
generous
exceptional.
community. It is.
Couldn't agree more. Okay.
Thank you all.
So those are the school
So
reports.
if we can just do
hold your
Peter's
seats,
faculty,
sir.
you guys
Yeah.
can take off.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for all your work.
And I'm very excited about Robert Evans. It's on my calendar. I will be
Yeah,
there.
we really want to bring Rob Evans in for a first back-to-school, first day for teachers, because he talks about the human side of school change, and it's particularly difficult in this day and age to hear all the bashing of public schools, you know, and he does a really nice job of sort of, you know, beefing up the morale. We tried to get him this year, he just wasn't available when we needed him.
He sounds
But
like he has
he's
a lot
on
to
our
offer.
list, and we want to have him come to Pembroke and forge a little relationship with him, and then hopefully, you know, maybe bring him, you know, maybe next year at the start of the school year.
He would help me, Peter, as we're gonna be doing at Georgetown Middle High School. It's gonna be in the auditorium there.
Is
Yes,
it
I will,
open to
yep.
more than just Georgetown?
October
Oh, yeah, well,
17th?
October 17th.
Yes.
That's when Rob Evans is
7
coming?
o'clock?
7 o'clock at October 17th.
Yes.
Rob Evans?
Yeah.
So we'll
There's a
make
lot
sure
to
we get that information out to parents.
Okay.
Thank you.
Faculty handbook. So you have a copy of Peter's faculty handbook.
Oh, yes, yes.
You know, obviously, if you have any questions for him, clarification,
That's it.
that's it. That would be the document. And the purpose, Peter, of that is really just
Beautiful
provide
cover.
procedures for the teachers.
Yep, yep. Everything you need to know.
And is this gonna be on the website?
No, that's for teachers
Teachers
only.
only.
Okay, okay, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
There would
There's
be a way that-
actually
that
an
just teachers
e-version
could
of
get-
that on the network
Server, right? Yeah.
areas of each teacher has a
That
some
just teachers,
service
I
with-
meant that just teachers could get into.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 It's in their storage area on the server. And the only thing that isn't in there is we just got some things
Yeah,
today
we did,
from the fire
from the fire
department,
department.
some regulations that we verbally go over with them every year, but we're gonna include it in that this year.
Any surprises?
No, same stuff, you know, there's,
Reporting fires, or not even fires, what did he call them? Anything where there's a combustible, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that might have, we have to report it
And
on
the big
the
thing
form.
for teachers is they can't cover more than 50% of their walls with flammable things and,
Used to be 20%,
Yeah.
and that was like, you gotta be kidding, in an elementary classroom, now it's 50% on any one wall. So it's not even, you know, so we.
What?
It's, you know, you can use combustible paper, but we don't have combustible paper.
Is that, is that,
It's the
is
law.
that- is it state law?
I
Fire-
believe it's
Fire
state.
marshal?
Yeah, fire marshal, came from fire marshal. Chief Beardsley passed it along
Yeah.
to us, and that would be something that would be included in faculty handbooks.
I mean, what's the whole point of the
Oh, there's
water system,
any
fire
benefits.
suppression systems that they put in and whatever?
Well, I think the feeling is that if you have paper,
Oh,
you
no.
know, it obviously escalates,
Yeah.
potentially escalates the problem.
Yeah.
The fire department's been very good and very reasonable to work with, and, you know,
Yeah.
have come in if we've had any questions and said, you know, can you help us figure out how to do this and still meet the regulations, and, you know.
Yeah.
We've appreciated that very much.
Is there anything in here that you wanted to just highlight, Peter?
no, it really.
Just
Pretty
procedural,
much
Yeah, I
procedural.
think the
Okay.
committee asked for these
Right.
in the spring.
Okay.
because it's a
So-
handbook, right,
Right,
so.
so we said that when we get them out in August, we'd send one along to you.
Two things that I just, when I was looking through it, I noticed here it says that you can't eat, kids can't eat anywhere but the calf.
That's true.
Okay.
That doesn't
So, but I
happen.
thought like
Hard to
snack,
enforce.
Yeah.
I thought like snack time,
It's true.
they did have like a snack time and.
They do that in just the sixth grade, I think. Yeah.
But I think there's flexibility for individual
Yeah,
teachers, I think
there
individual
is.
teachers do.
And some of our programs, that's part of an incentive-based
Yeah, yeah.
behavioral program.
Mhm.
So you can in there, but as a general rule, you're not supposed to
students
eat
who are
outside.
Because
diabetic.
sometimes that is a long, if you get in there at 7:30 and your lunch is until 12.
Mhm.
So, full disclosure, a 6th and 8th grader, if my 8th grader says I have, give me a snack, am I to say, oh, you're not supposed to have a snack, or do I give them a snack?
Like I said, it's
I-
hard to enforce. Kids eat little things. They have it in their locker. They go to their locker. They take a bite. The general idea is that we don't want
The
high
mice
school
and-
kids bringing coffee into the classrooms.
Right.
Another reason why we need to get rid of those rugs, they're all coffee stained, and computer labs is something that I really
Can't have
get
people
passionate
spilling
about when I see
liquids
it.
on computers.
Yeah,
And even water bottles are the exception but cannot be opened in classrooms.
yeah, you can bring water bottles anywhere.
And then electronic devices, the children can use their phones during lunch,
That's
just
new.
the phone.
They
they
can
can't
use
use
the
the
phone,
camera.
they can never use the camera. They can use the phone during lunch, before, after school, during lunch, and at teacher discretion in the classroom, which is new, so we'll see how that goes this year. So, it's the closest we can get to a one-to-one initiative at this point. It's how kids communicate today, and we wanna utilize it.
I like how you're trying it out.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see how it goes. Those are the only two things I had
Okay, so
questions
I guess
about.
we need to approve this, is that
Yep,
correct?
just
All
take
right,
a
so
vote to
looking for
approve.
a motion to approve the Georgetown Middle High School Teacher Staff Handbook of 2012-2013 as submitted.
So moved?
Second?
Any discussion? Nice color.
Excellent.
No discussion. All those in favor?
You don't all get that
Aye.
color. They get the black and white copies.
Color
Okay.
is beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
great.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Alright, so,
All right, good.
let's see, superintendent's information for the committee?
Mostly welcome back stuff.
What about the donation letter?
Donation letter?
Superintendent's information for the committee, donation, and it's anonymous.
Donation
I don't-
thank you
this was in-
letters.
There were two in there.
I won't say the name on it, but this was a letter that was and says both anonymous.
And there's one on the back side.
Yeah.
Is that just the information behind what we're going to vote on?
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
I think that was just
No,
information.
this is just, that's a thank you letter. There's two, one on the other side as well,
Yeah?
and so
I don't
that
think
was
we
in the
acknowledge
packet.
it.
I didn't know if that was something that you,
Laura, I might need a little help here. What are we talking about?
Letter after you guys vote on every donation, and I give you that to show you that
It's been done.
officially thanked them.
Okay,
okay.
okay.
All right, so that's.
Thank
all
you. So that's
set.
just information. Thank you, Laura.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Question, what do those little asterisks after everything mean?
That means there's an actual attachment. So you would actually find it, something in your packet to correspond to that.
A legend.
A legend.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Financial report, copier lease. Where's that guy? 3-year copier lease.
Correct. This is to replace machines that are currently on a lease, that the lease expires in September. So we want to trade out the current machines that are on the lease, and we'll get all new machines to replace them. We turn over the lease, and as part of the state contract, we will get 3 years free service. So the trade-off is the savings on the service. So we actually will save overall in the budget, let's see, $2,400 a year based upon what we've been paying for service. So it's very typical that you'll go through these leases, and typically when you turn them over, you get 3 years free maintenance. So, yeah, so.
What does it mean, this proposal is part of the state bid list?
I didn't go out for a formal bid. I didn't develop a bid. You're allowed to buy from vendors that are already qualified by the state. So it makes my job a lot easier, not having to write bid specs and send it out and advertise it like
Yeah.
the bus.
Yeah?
It'd be great if they had the bus one on the state bid list, but they don't. So that was a lot of work for Jim to put that together for you
Right.
to put out to bid. So there are many things on the state
Okay.
bid list. We are in our integrated pest management, the company that we just went with, state bid list. So that relieves the school district from spending time and money putting together bid specs and going through the process. They're already qualified,
Great.
so.
Makes sense. Okay, let's see, looking for a motion to approve the 3-year annual lease.
So
in the
moved.
total amount,
Sorry.
that's all right, in the total amount of $78,698.52.
So moved.
Second.
Do they, in the motion, Joan, do they need to mention the name of the company they're awarding the lease to?
Probably not. It's just that you're approving that the district enter into a 36-month lease.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so the motion.
There is a motion, Rob, if you want to
Yes.
look at it in the orange notes, that's up to you.
You
But-
can say it that way, it's fine. It's mostly just so that you allow us to go into a 3-year lease. That's part of, I believe, maybe Georgetown charter.
Charter, yeah.
Oh, yours is a little different, isn't it? All right, so do we need to, what's the protocol for withdrawing that motion
Say,
because it was
to
seconded?
was it
Yeah.
seconded? Well, you ask the person who seconded if they're willing to.
Sure. Redo it.
All right, so, motion, looking for a motion to approve the revised 2012-2016 maintenance and capital improvement. Wait a
Nope,
minute, wrong one.
wrong line.
Wrong one. Motion to approve the 3-year copier lease as presented by Joan Laporto.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approved.
Great.
Revised maintenance and capital improvement plan.
Right, the last meeting, I think it was the last meeting, the committee approved the maintenance and capital improvement, I forget what it was called, maintenance capital improvement plan that was put together prior to my coming to Georgetown. And it's a requirement for MSBA to have an approved maintenance plan. So when I went on the website, I had to enter it through the MSBA security portal. I had to upload a lot of information, and part of it was the maintenance plan. And when I looked at the requirements for the maintenance plan, we hadn't fulfilled all the requirements. You had to have a mission statement, you had to have goals. So I went back with Mike, and we kind of took his and made it fit into the format that's necessary to satisfy MSBA. So
Good.
there's really nothing substantially changed. It's just a different document. And
Format.
it has a mission statement, it has goals, and then the rest of it's pretty much the same as what Mike had developed. So they tell you it's very prescriptive of how it's supposed to be written, so I just kind of adapted it.
By their guidelines.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Okay, then looking for a motion to approve the revised 2012-2016 maintenance and capital improvement plan as presented.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? No discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Do all
Joan.
that.
Subcommittee reports. Budget and finance.
We have not met
And we
since
need
the
to
last
schedule a
meeting, but we do.
Mhm.
Governance.
We did meet on August 15th, and we went through
There'll be some modifications to some policies in your next.
the September 13th meeting.
Okay.
We'll go over.
Do you want to schedule now?
No,
No?
it's better to do it.
Good enough. All
I
right.
think
Negotiations.
we're already starting the email
Laura
chain
takes
now.
Yeah, Laura takes
Okay,
care of
okay,
that.
all right. Negotiations subcommittee.
Nothing to.
Nothing to report.
All right. Public relations. Pam.
Okay, yes, we've met, and the last time we met as a full committee, which was July 24th, and we agreed that our initial focus would be on the 3 delivery systems of the district website redesign, upgrade, email marketing, and the district brochure, and that was in prioritized order. And we are, with the help of Barry Belanger, who is amazingly talented and just he's now working on a prototype to upgrade the website to to bring about a new face to it, hopefully more organized, streamlined, professional looking, easy to understand, clear information on it. We, as a committee, have been discussing the idea of just having 10 basic areas or facts that we want to be sure to include in these communications. We were going to present, we have we
No,
presented those?
We haven't got
Okay.
anything.
And so we were gonna wait until the September 13th meeting to discuss those in more detail, to get feedback from
Right,
the
and
school
we need to
committee
meet again,
about,
because Rob wasn't able to come to this meeting, yeah.
yes,
So we should
about
probably get a date.
what they consider
We can do that
important
tonight.
information to
We should get a
communicate
date.
to the public via these 3 avenues.
Okay, so let's get a date and.
We can set a date. Do I recall on the third item there of the brochure that it was brochure / snail mailing, that there was website, email,
Right.
and then brochure and snail mail. Is that, I mean, we can talk about that
Yeah,
later.
we should talk
We
about that,
discussed,
yeah.
All right, it's not that
Yeah,
I'm
important
not
now.
sure about stale bill piece, but
Uses of the brochure to give to new families in the district with
Yeah.
children in their first year attending Georgetown Public Schools, to offer to realtors, to give prospective home buyers, and to post online. And to possibly offer hard copies available at the superintendent's office for anyone seeking to learn basic facts about the district.
Right.
Okay. Then Margaret mentioned that she was doing the, working also on the website for.
yeah,
for their section.
they've been working on
Can
there,
you fill me in
yeah.
on how that is working with what you guys got going with?
We'll fill you in when we meet.
Do it there.
We haven't coordinated it yet. Barry's just doing some, prototypes for us to look at.
Prototypes, yes.
We're still operating off of our website we
That is
currently have.
correct.
Okay, I was just curious, just generally like
And
that.
he's
That's
been
good
working
enough.
with Margaret. Margaret's been working on her website for a year.
Okay,
Yes.
so at the conclusion of this meeting, we could set up a meeting.
Yeah,
for public
or
relations.
email, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and then all we have left, we have this, Rob, we wanna forget this. No, new business, so this would be new
School
business.
tour for children and
The fall
acceptance of
mom sale.
donation.
Yeah, we have the acceptance of the donation and the music
And the
program.
music
That's
mom
it.
sale. So, Cheryl, do you wanna?
Yeah,
new business?
Laura LaFlamme works with the music parents, obviously, and every year they apparently do a mum sale. That's one of their major fundraisers. If you look at the date, it's due Wednesday, September 12th, which is why we're adding it to the agenda where we normally wouldn't add an item to the agenda. Normally, Laura said she goes to Peter, because Peter approves fundraisers for the school. But because this is not a school, a faculty-run fundraiser, it's a music parents fundraiser, all of those come before the committee for approval. So she called me, kind of anxious about if it didn't get discussed tonight, then really they can't meet the September 12th deadline. So I spoke to Ann Blythe, she had said, sure, put it on, and, Rob's gracious enough to, put it on as well. So what I'm really asking you to do is to, make a motion to approve this fundraiser done by the music parents, so that, with approval, they can begin the process, get this information out, and still be able to work with the September 12th date.
So, looking for a motion to approve the fundraiser for the Georgetown Music Program Fall Mum Sale, as just discussed.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? No discussion? Great. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, I'll email Laura, Laura will be very happy,
And then the last item, I think, was
the donation.
Frank's Pie Company.
Yes.
Oh.
So you may have known, I hope you knew that some of the filming of the movie Labor Day
Oh, yes.
was done in Georgetown. Michael Farrell forwarded me an email from a gentleman who was putting the whole thing together and was requesting possible use of, they were looking for parking, and they were also looking for a facility to feed the cast and crew. So Mike forwarded, the information to me and said, would we be willing to speak with him and maybe help coordinate? Laura did a great job working on that project, and as a result, they did use our facilities, they did use our cafeteria and our parking lots, and they also would like to make a $1,500 donation to the district to be used as any way that we see fit. So you accept all monetary donations, so on behalf of Frank's Pie Company. I would like to, encourage you to accept his donation, and we will respond to him with gratitude for his generous donation. And we're certainly glad they were able to use the school facilities, because the facilities are for the town, and this was a town-wide kind of celebration of hosting a movie company. Okay.
That was a nice, thoughtful gesture.
Yes, it is very much a thoughtful gesture, so.
So we have to approve that.
Yeah, you have to
Make a
accept the
motion to,
15.
looking for a motion to approve from Frank's Pie Company of Natick, Mass, the gift of $1,500.
So, second.
Second. Any discussion? No discussion,
Fantastic.
all in favor?
Aye.
That concludes that. There is no executive session,
No executive
correct?
session, that's right.
All right, so that would be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
Any discussion? No, all in favor? Aye.
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 Meeting's adjourned.